Okay, let's sidestep learning Sprite Kit for just one more video. Of course, if you already are familiar with developing with Xcode, you can skip this next part and just go straight into Sprite Kit. But if you're new here and you want to install your application on your device, as you probably do want to, you're going to need to get signed up as a registered developer. And once you've paid Apple that a $99 yearly fee, you're going to get access to the Dev Center and also iTunes Connect, which is where you're going to manage your applications and basically fill in all the details prior to uploading your apps. But your Dev Center is where you're going to get new versions of Xcode, sample code, documentation, all sorts of stuff like that. And important to us right now is going to be these certificates, identifiers, and profiles. So click on that, and you're an iOS developer, so go over here to your certificates, and this will actually take you to certificates, identifiers, devices, and provisioning profiles. And a lot of what we're doing in here can actually be done from within Xcode if you go over here to the organizer window. And what you'll need to pay attention to is just some of the prompts down here. So for example, if you plug in a device and you want to use it as a testing device, right? Could do something here, but you can also just do it the simpler way through Organizer and click on, for example, Add to Member Center, and to add this device, select the development team, and just click Choose. I don't need to do that because I've already done that. So there's a couple ways of doing pretty much everything, but let's kind of go through things here in order. You're going to need to get a development certificate and also a production or distribution certificate. And it's kind of funny actually that they have development here and production right here, and then they have development and distribution right here. Just consider distribution and production synonymous. You're going to use either that certificate, or you're going to use that certificate and you're going to use that profile when you give your application to Apple. That's the one that you've had kind of officially signed with your credentials, and that's going to be the app that gets released in the store. Otherwise, when you're just developing things, when you're using your development certificate and your development profile, that's just you playing around, installing it onto your device and testing it and things like that. Okay, so they do differentiate between the two certificates. Kind of annoying, I think, but I'm sure they have their reason. And you're going to need to deal with both of them. So I don't actually have a valid production certificate right now because these things expire way too soon. It's always like a year or something like that, and a year goes by quick. I wish there was like some sort of 10-year certificate, but it just doesn't exist. So actually, at the time, I've all my my production certificates or distribution ones have run dry, and I'm now back at the start from scratch scene here. So you can read through this, and it's going to say that you can request a certificate from Xcode's organizer, or you can go through this and request or upload a certificate signing request. And Apple, I'm sure, has the instructions to do that all through here. Okay, so just follow those prompts or go again through organizer, but just realize that you are going to need a certificate for both development and production/distribution. Let's skip down here to app IDs, and this ID is the same as the one that you were seeing over here under bundle identifier. All right, so when you go and create an actual app, you need to have a specific app ID. It needs to match whatever you have created over here. So when you're I could click that little plus sign. So whenever you register a new app ID, you're going to throw in, or you're going to put in here, com.yourdomain.your app name. And then for app prefix, just go with your team ID. I don't think I've ever done anything different than that. And then app ID suffix. I've actually never encountered this. I would say it's probably you don't need to put anything in there. And then for app services, if there's something that, let's see if these are related again, you probably want to leave these checked off right here. And then if you're just making a game, I don't think you want to deal with Passbook or iCloud or data protection. So you can probably just go over here and click on continue, and basically at that point you'll have your app ID, and then when you are creating your provisioning profiles, so let's cut down here, your profiles actually have that identifier in there. So if I were to make this screen a little bit bigger, let's see, yeah, you would start to see that there are your app IDs for everything. And obviously, again, like I was saying before, mine are constantly running invalid or expiring, and I only have one active right now, which is my team provisioning profile, and I can use that for this little wildcard, this star right here. I can use my team provisioning profile for just testing about anything inside of here. I don't have to put in a specific bundle ID for that. So if you go over here to your build settings, and it should just be automatic, but if you type in code signing and then pull down any of these, here's my just kind of regular team ID right there. So that would allow me to publish the game to my actual iPad, and that is the iPad simulator. This is my actual iPad. It says Justin's iPad on there, and of course that is plugged into my computer. So these are my development provisioning profiles, and then you've got other ones specifically for your distribution. And again, I've let everything kind of run dry with my distribution, but if I had an app that I was ready to send to Apple, then I'd want to go over here to release, and again, consider this synonymous with production or distribution, and you're going to want Apple to pick out your iOS distribution profile. It should automatically do that. The reason it's set to developer for me right now is because obviously I don't have a distribution profile in there at the moment, so it's just going to default to this one. But it would not let me sign the application with my developer one. I'd have to go find, or have to go install my provisioning profile for distribution, and click on either this or find the specific one down here and select it, and then you would be good to go over here to build for, or I guess just build, and it would create that application. And you might not be seeing this. I haven't actually built a signed development application in Xcode, but there was usually a build for archiving option over here. Or I guess actually maybe now you just go to archive, and that'll create the actual app that you're going to send off to Apple. And again, if you're over here in your organizer, if you plug in a device and it doesn't have the provisioning profiles that you have created over here in development or distribution, you can, there should be an option in here that says, well, when you go to add to member sender, it should bring in those profiles for you automatically. But let's see, if you click on add, you can go and actually add them from the file that, or a file that you downloaded over here. So for example, with one of my development ones, I can go and actually download that. So that's kind of the short of it in terms of working with your two profile types. And if you do that and you follow the any other instructions you see on Apple's side, you should be A-okay to test on your actual device. Okay, now we can move on.